My name is Edward, and my life was a meticulously crafted lie, a tapestry woven with threads of neglect and betrayal. For years, I was the invisible son, the expendable brother, the husband whose worth was measured only by what I could provide. They took everything, my wife, my dignity, my entire life savings, leaving me with nothing but the bitter taste of their contempt. The email arrived on a Tuesday, short and brutal. I'm leaving you, Edward. I've found someone who truly appreciates me. I've already cleared out the joint accounts. Don't try to contact me. It was from Sarah, my wife of 10 years, and it was a gut punch that left me breathless. But the real betrayal? That came when I learned she wasn't just leaving me for another man. She was leaving me for my own brother, Daniel. They didn't just take my money, they took my entire life, piece by excruciating piece. They thought they had won, that I was broken beyond repair. Little did they know, their smug smiles would soon turn to ghostly pale faces, their laughter choked by the sheer, undeniable reality of what they had truly lost. If you've ever felt the crushing weight of betrayal, the sting of being cast aside by those you loved most, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments if you believe that true strength comes from rising when others expect you to fall. My childhood was a masterclass in favoritism. Daniel, my older brother, was the golden child, a shimmering idol in our parents' eyes. Every achievement, every minor success of his was celebrated with effusive praise and lavish gifts. My own triumphs, however small, were met with a dismissive nod, a curt, "That's nice, Edward," before the conversation inevitably circled back to Daniel's latest sporting victory or academic accolade. I remember one Christmas, I spent weeks building a complex model airplane, meticulously painting every detail. When I presented it, my father barely glanced at it, too busy admiring the brand new, top-of-the-line gaming console he'd bought for Daniel. My mother just patted my head and said, "That's sweet, dear. Now help Daniel set up his new game." The silence that followed was deafening, a hollow echo of my yearning for their approval. It wasn't just the unequal gifts, it was the missed events, the dismissive comments. When I graduated at the top of my class in engineering, my parents were too busy attending Daniel's minor league baseball game to come to my ceremony. My mother on the phone simply said, "Oh, congratulations, Edward. We're so proud of Daniel. He almost hit a home run today." The ache in my chest was a constant companion, a dull throb of invisibility. I yearned for their recognition, for just one moment where I felt truly seen, truly valued, but it never came. This pattern continued into adulthood. I worked relentlessly, building a career as a structural engineer. I poured my heart and soul into every project, every design. Meanwhile, Daniel floated through life, relying on our parents' financial support and connections to secure a cushy, largely undemanding job in their family real estate business. They praised his networking skills, while my late nights and diligent work went unnoticed. The true inciting incident, the last straw, came during my grandmother's funeral. She was the only one in the family who had ever truly seen me, truly encouraged me. She had left a modest sum of money in her will, specifically for my education. When the will was read, Daniel, with a smirk, interrupted, claiming that he, as the responsible older brother, should manage the funds to ensure I didn't squander it. My parents, without a moment's hesitation, agreed. My grandmother's final act of support, twisted and snatched away by the very people who were supposed to protect me. I felt a snap that day, a quiet, internal resolve hardening in my soul. The tears I shed were not just for my grandmother, but for the profound betrayal that had become the defining characteristic of my family. I knew then that if I wanted anything, I would have to earn it on my own for myself. And when the time came, they would see what they had truly lost. The years that followed the funeral were a blur of relentless work and sacrifice. I put myself through a demanding postgraduate program, working 3 different part-time jobs, tutoring, freelance drafting, even night shifts at a convenience store, just to pay tuition and rent. My days were a grueling cycle of classes, work, and studying until my eyes burned. There were times I survived on instant noodles and pure stubbornness. My blood family remained oblivious, occasionally calling to ask for favors, or more often, to boast about Daniel's latest achievement, usually a trivial purchase or a vacation funded by our parents. Their condescension was a constant low hum in the background of my struggle. Still at that engineering thing, Edward? Daniel's closing a huge deal next month. You should take notes. But amidst the struggle, I found my chosen family. There was Professor Anya Sharma, my structural engineering mentor, whose sharp intellect and unwavering belief in my potential became a beacon. She pushed me, challenged me, and opened doors I never knew existed. There was Mark, my roommate in college, a budding software developer, who shared my late-night study sessions and became a true brother, offering unwavering emotional support and a listening ear. And then there was Dr. Eleanor Vance, a brilliant and compassionate architect I met during my first major project. She saw my talent, my dedication, and recognized the fire in my belly. Eleanor became not just a colleague, but a loving partner. Her quiet strength and understanding, a stark contrast to the emotional void I'd always known. They became my anchors, providing the unconditional support and recognition that my blood family had always withheld. They celebrated my small victories and picked me up after every setback. My work ethic paid off. I started my own structural engineering firm, Apex Structures, from a cramped spare bedroom. Initially, it was just me, a battered laptop, and a dream. I took on every small, challenging project, pouring my heart into each one, building a reputation for innovative solutions and unwavering integrity. Slowly, Apex Structures grew. We landed bigger contracts, tackled more complex designs. I was on the cusp of something significant, something monumental. During this time, Sarah, my wife, remained firmly entrenched in the orbit of my family. She'd always been drawn to their superficial charm, their outward displays of wealth. She seemed to thrive on the attention Daniel received, living vicariously through his golden boy status. My successes were met with a blank stare, a dismissive wave of the hand. "That's nice, dear," she'd say, "but Daniel just bought a new yacht. Why don't you focus on something more glamorous?" She saw my dedication as a flaw, my ambition as a burden. She never understood the quiet satisfaction of building something from the ground up, of earning every single success. As Apex Structures gained national recognition for our groundbreaking designs in sustainable infrastructure, my family remained blissfully unaware, or perhaps willfully ignorant. They still saw me as poor Edward, the perpetually struggling one. Their calls became less frequent, usually only when they needed a quick, free consultation on a structural issue with one of Daniel's shoddy construction projects. They'd speak to me with that familiar tone of condescension, assuming I was still scraping by. Each call solidified my resolve. They had dismissed my worth, undervalued my efforts, and now they were about to discover the true cost of their blindness. The plan wasn't born out of malice, but out of a deep-seated desire for justice, for them to finally see the man they had refused to acknowledge. The perfect opportunity arose with the annual Founders Gala for the city's largest philanthropic organization, a prestigious event that my parents and Daniel, due to their various philanthropic endeavors, read tax write-offs, always attended. This year was different. Apex Structures had been chosen to design the new, state-of-the-art children's hospital, a project that would reshape the city's skyline and provide crucial medical services for decades to come. The design unveiling was the main event of the gala. I arrived with Eleanor, my head held high, a quiet confidence radiating from me. My parents and Daniel were already there, holding court at a table near the front, their usual smug smiles plastered on their faces. As I walked past, Daniel caught my eye. He gave me a dismissive nod, then turned back to his conversation, a low chuckle escaping him. My mother, seeing me, simply offered a tight, strained smile. "Oh, Edward, you made it. Still busy with whatever it is you do?" Her voice dripped with condescension. Sarah was by Daniel's side, her arm linked through his, a smirk playing on her lips as she looked at me, her eyes filled with a chilling pity. "Rough few years, huh, Edward?" she whispered, loud enough for Daniel to hear, who then let out a hearty mocking laugh. The speeches began, and soon it was time for the presentation on the Children's Hospital. The lights dimmed, and the CEO of the philanthropic organization, a stern but respected figure, took the stage. "Tonight," he began, "we unveil a project that will define our city's future, a beacon of hope and healing. And the visionary behind this monumental undertaking is a name you might not all recognize, but you certainly will after tonight." He paused, and a hush fell over the room. "Please, join me in welcoming the lead structural engineer, the CEO of Apex Structures, Mr. Edward Thorne." A spotlight hit me as I walked onto the stage, the applause starting as a ripple and then building to a roar. I saw my parents' faces from the stage, their smiles faltering, replaced by a look of utter confusion. Daniel's jaw went slack, his eyes wide with shock. "And Sarah?" Her face drained of all colour, her hand flying to her mouth, her eyes darting between me and Daniel, who was now stammering, "Edward? No, it can't be." I stood at the podium, a confident smile on my face. "Good evening, everyone. It's an honour to present the future of paediatric care in our city." As I began to explain the intricate details of the hospital's design, the innovative earthquake-resistant foundations, the sustainable energy systems, details born from years of tireless work and dedication, I watched their reactions. My father's hand trembled as he reached for his water glass. My mother gripped the edge of the table, her knuckles white. Daniel kept opening and closing his mouth, trying to form words, but none came out. Sarah looked like she'd seen a ghost, her carefully constructed facade crumbling before my very eyes. Mid-presentation, a respected city council member, a man known for his integrity, stood up and applauded. "Mr. Thorne," he boomed, "your work on the downtown revitalization project was nothing short of miraculous. We're truly fortunate to have your expertise guiding this vital new hospital." The mention of the downtown project, a massive undertaking that had been praised for its economic impact, visibly stunned my family. They had never even known I was involved, let alone that I was the lead engineer. After my presentation, as I walked off the stage, I saw my father rise, his face a mixture of awe and disbelief. "Edward," he stammered, his voice barely a whisper, is that really you?" Daniel, looking utterly defeated, simply shook his head, unable to meet my gaze. Sarah, however, pushed through the crowd, her eyes desperate. "Edward, wait! We need to talk. This is a misunderstanding, right?" Her voice was laced with a pathetic blend of fear and a dawning realization of her catastrophic mistake. The revenge wasn't in their humiliation, but in the blinding clarity of their regret. They saw me, truly saw me, for the first time, and the sight was devastating for them. The immediate aftermath of the gala was chaotic. My parents, after recovering from their shock, tried to approach me, their voices a confusing mix of belated praise and thinly veiled attempts to re-establish some control. "Edward, why didn't you tell us about all this? We could have helped. Your father and I are so proud." But their words rang hollow. I politely but firmly informed them that my success was built on my own efforts, not their help. I maintained firm boundaries, no longer seeking their approval, no longer allowing them to dictate my worth. Daniel, completely deflated, tried a different tactic. He attempted to leverage my success for his own failing real estate ventures, trying to rope Apex Structures into his next dubious project. "Look, Edward, we're family. We should work together. Think of the synergy." I simply smiled, a genuine, unburdened smile, and told him that Apex Structures only partnered with companies that shared our values of integrity and excellence. His face fell. Sarah, however, was the most desperate. She tried every manipulation in her arsenal. Tears, pleas for forgiveness, even accusations of me abandoning her. "Edward, you can't just leave me for this. This life." We had something special. The irony was bitter. I looked at her. No anger, just a profound sense of detachment. "Sarah," I said, my voice calm, "you made your choices. I'm living mine." I had moved on, not just from her, but from the person I was when I was constantly seeking their validation. The family dynamics shifted dramatically. Some distant relatives, who had always observed the favoritism with discomfort, now reached out, expressing their admiration and support. My parents, stripped of their power over me, found their influence within their social circles diminished. Daniel's reputation, already shaky, crumbled further as people realized he was nothing more than a pampered fraud. The truth, finally, was laid bare. Apex Structures continued to flourish, securing even more prestigious projects. My life with Eleanor was a testament to true partnership and respect. We built a home filled with laughter and unconditional love, a stark contrast to the emotional desert of my past. My chosen family, Eleanor, Mark, Professor Sharma, celebrated every milestone with genuine joy, their support a constant wellspring. I no longer yearned for the validation of my blood relatives. Their absence in my journey had forced me to forge my own path, and in doing so, I had discovered an inner strength and resilience I never knew I possessed. The silence from my original family was no longer a wound, but a serene quiet, a symbol of my liberation. My story isn't just about revenge, it's about reclaiming your worth. It's about understanding that your value isn't defined by the approval or disapproval of others, especially those who seek to diminish you. The pain of betrayal can be a powerful catalyst, a crucible in which resilience is forged and purpose is found. I learned that true family isn't about blood. It's about the people who stand by you, who lift you up, and who celebrate your authentic self, even when the rest of the world can't see it. Boundaries aren't just necessary. They are an act of self-preservation, a declaration of your own inherent value. If you're watching this and you felt invisible, undervalued, or betrayed by those who should have loved you unconditionally, remember this: your journey is your own. Turn your pain into purpose. Build your own empire, your own chosen family, and watch as those who dismissed you realize the true cost of their blindness. Don't let anyone else write your story. Write your own triumphant ending. If this resonated with you, if you've ever had to rise above the ashes of betrayal, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Share your own story in the comments below. Let's build a community of resilience, strength, and unwavering self-respect. And remember, the greatest revenge is living your best life.